One of my daughters was telling me someone cheated her out of some money. I told her she should do this and that. She said, "Father, they stole my money. I'm not going to allow them to steal my peace." I thought, what a weird answer. I want to discuss with you today the power of contentment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. 2 Kings 4 and 8 says, "One day Elijah passed to Shunem, where there was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And it was so that as often as he passed by, he turned in to her house to eat bread. And she said to her husband, 'I perceive that this is a holy man of God who passes by us continually. Let us build a little chamber on the wall and give him a bed, a table, and a stool, and a candlestick, so that when he comes to us, he can stay there.' So Elijah came and stayed there one day and said to Gehazi, his servant, 'Call this Shunammite woman.' And when he had called her, she stood before him. And he said, 'You have done all of this for us. What do you want in exchange? Do you want me to speak to the king or to the captain of the hosts for you?' And she answered, 'I dwell among my own people.'" This struck me. What an answer. I dwell among my own people? The reason her statement struck me was because I didn't understand why she wouldn't ask anything from the prophet. Surely she could think of something to ask for. She was a prosperous giver, but she had no child. She built a room on her house for the prophet, and when he asked her what she wanted, she said, "I dwell among my own people." She said, "I'm good." She was content. Although she was content, the prophet said, "You're going to have a child." She said, "Don't play with me. Don't play with me because I didn't ask you for anything. You don't owe me anything for what I did. I did it because I perceived that you were a man of God." There are millions of people who are blessed because they blessed the man of God, even though they aren't looking for anything. You can't beat God giving. I see your giving being rewarded by the great giver. Paul said it like this when they gave to him: "Not that I speak in respect of want, because I have learned in whatever state I'm in to be content. I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." You see, contentment makes you strong. I see you being strengthened today. There's nothing wrong with trading the talents which the Lord gives you. God expects us to be profitable with what he has given us, whether 1 or 5 talents. There's nothing wrong with trading for profit. There's nothing wrong with winning. But you must do it from a place of contentment. That's why it's wrong to be indebted to everyone, living on credit cards, taking anxiety meds, and working 3 jobs just to get by. I admire your zeal, but it's not from a place of contentment. Contentment is the missing ingredient. You must be content in every stage of life. You must be content when you have the blade, content when you have the ear, and content when you have the full corn in the ear. You must be content at every stage of development. Contentment is not complacency. Contentment makes you strong. Here's one definition of contentment. It means sufficient for oneself, strong enough, needing no aid or support, independent of external circumstances. That doesn't sound like complacency to me. It simply means that you're willing to dwell among your own people. His grace is sufficient for you. I can say like David, I have been young and now I am old. I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his children begging for bread. David never saw it, and I've never seen it. That's because God said in Hebrews 13:5, let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. For he has said, I will never leave you or forsake you. We may boldly say, the Lord is my helper, and I will not fear. What is covetousness? That's a strong, inordinate desire for obtaining and possessing things, usually in a bad sense. Avoid covetousness. You can be too eager for stuff. Do you want to gain? 1 Timothy 6:6 says, godliness with contentment is great gain. Whether or not you leave an inheritance to your children is a subject for another message. But for you personally, 1 Timothy 6:7 says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. All that you gain in this world is to fund the gospel, enjoy yourself, and leave an inheritance. 1 Timothy 6:8 says, having food and clothes, let us be content. That's where we begin, by being content with food and clothes. Food to eat, to keep from starving, and clothes to keep us from being naked. We begin from and stay in a place of contentment. Be content and thankful. David said in Psalms 34:6, this man cried and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all of his troubles. Did you hear what David said? This poor man cried and the Lord delivered him and saved him out of all of his troubles. Cry out to God and he will hear you. The Bible says his ears are open to your cry. Don't be proud. God saves those who have a humble heart and a spirit of contrition. God helps those who, from a place of contentment, follow good stewardship principles, trusting him and walking in the wisdom of the word. Stop watching and listening to people who don't know the word. They're lying to you. Ignore how good they make things look on the outside. Either intentionally or through their ignorance, their life is a lie. Get with the people of God and learn the word. There were no perfect churches in the Bible. There are none today. There are plenty of good churches, though. Jesus is still building his church, and he wants you in it so he can build it through you. Quit walking around talking about you're on your own. The Bible doesn't speak about any Christian who is on their own. That's foolishness. You will need to stay in the word to prosper from a place of contentment. And I see you doing just that. Stop all those credit cards. You know, all abusing credit cards does is tell God that you're bigger than you are. Live according to your size. God will know when you have grown and when you're bigger. God will never be late in blessing you. Be content, trusting God as you grow. He will never leave you or forsake you. God has not forgotten you. God is watching over you. It's God's job to bless you and your job to be faithful. And you can't be faithful if you're not content. Here's why you should be content. The Bible has promises that we can stand on. We might have to stand in faith and in patience, but be assured God will come through. God has promised in Psalms 34:10 that the young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. No matter what your situation is currently, the Bible says you should be praising God. Psalms 34:2 says, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. Why? Because Psalms 34:7 says, the angel of the Lord surrounds them that fear him, and God will deliver them. It starts with your faith. You must believe, then you will see. It's not the other way around. You don't see and then believe. You believe to see. If someone who you believed said that they would put $1 million into your bank or your possession by Wednesday, from the moment they promised, you would be content if you really believed them. You must be content with the promises of God if you want to see them fulfilled, because without faith, it actually is impossible. Wherever you are starting from, it's a good place because God is there. Be content doing God's will, and God will surprise you with what you desire. You see, the great woman was content to dwell among her own people, but God knew what she really wanted. And God granted her the desires of her heart. If this message has blessed you, please like, subscribe, and share. It's a sin when you don't win.